Welcome back to another episode of WagMe TV. As always, if you like this content, feel free to like, comment, subscribe below, and let's get into it.
What's up, everybody? We are back today, and we're going to run through the newest NFT marketplace out there, Blur. I'm sure you've been hearing a lot about it, but today we're going to give a little tutorial and just, see what the hype is all about. So with that, Garcia, you want to take it away?
Yeah, let's hop into it. If you are at all, familiar with NFTs, you've definitely heard this. You've heard the launch. You've heard it leading up to the launch back in October. They kind of started basically opening up a beta and then actually ended up doing a airdrop of their Blur token to people that interacted with the site, and they actually had different ways to get those rewards, whether it's like placing bids or listing. Like you can see right here, they're in season 2 of rewards for the Blur token. So a really cool kind of gamified way that they're doing their airdrop. And it's gotten a lot of people to come to Blur, right? So they have almost 150,000 users, about $1.4 billion in total value traded on here. So, it's definitely made some waves. And some of the kind of main things that people are talking about, first off, NFTs, like if you're at all familiar with them, you understand that there's pretty much two types of people. One, folks who like to just trade and kind of play around and make money with NFTs. And then there's other people who just straight up like to collect them. They don't care if they lose money on them. They just like the art. And so Blur has kind of made it unique where you can actually choose a trader or trader or collector profile. And so I've actually chosen the trader profile. And when you go into a collection, we're here in Bored Ape Yacht Club, you're actually going to see that you're able to see the floor depth. So you can find walls. I mean, a lot of times, when you're doing this on OpenSea, you literally need to just look down the list of the different NFTs and actually find where the walls are. Here it actually shows you, and then it also shows you a nice little price chart. So you can see that with the floor price, and then as well as those sales that kind of either boost or lower the floor price over here. And then you can change that to, 1 day or 7 day or 30-day look back, but a lot easier than going to, something like a Parsec or a different website to try to find the chart and just take a quick little look at it. But when you're in one of the collections here and starting to take a look, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to get just a quick idea of when you click on an NFT, what it's all about. So what I mean by that is namely the traits, right? If you were going to do this in OpenSea, you actually need to go in to the specific NFT, click into it, click into each one of the traits here. You have this big long list of the floor NFTs listed. You can click right in and then look at, the different types of attributes they have. Particularly with this one, you can see the quantity of that trait and then the percentage that it represents of the total collection. A lot easier to just kind of navigate and understand what you're trying to look for. And so a lot of times in, a more trading environment, you want to have activity. You want to look at the floor and sales and what the chart looks like. You want to be able to quickly pull up a lot of the different NFTs themselves. But then you can also change the layout too. So if you want it to feel more like OpenSea, that's an option, right? But I just think that Blur did a great job of making this more friendly to what most people are using NFTs for, which is just collecting or trading. And so the trading view obviously also includes a lot more detail on the actual collection itself. So the 1 day change, 7 day change, and some of the volume with the different time monikers on them. But in my opinion, just a lot easier to manage and take a look at a collection and kind of, peruse around. Any questions I have or anything?
Well, no, I just a general comment on it. It sounded like they listened to their customers. This is something where NFT trading is huge. And you're right. Like it took a while to kind of figure out what the floor depth was for, different prices. And then also to, really feel like you can sift through a collection and get a feel for, how you wanted to invest in it. Because, you can invest in NFTs in a meaningful way. So, yeah, this is awesome. I think another feature I saw was that if you were looking to buy an NFT, you could also set different gas limits on what you wanted to include in the transaction. So you could almost create priority in the system, which I felt was, something that I didn't readily see off the bat in OpenSea. But yeah, I mean, this was a great overview. Garcia, I guess a question for you: is it something where they have an option around like portfolios or being able to manage your personal collection? Like, what is some of the features they have around that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we'll dive into that really quickly next. Just the other thing that I realized I didn't mention was another big feature that Blur has kind of been, leading with in terms of their marketing, right? Is this sweep feature. So you can actually grab you can basically say optimize sweep, which then it pulls it from lowest price to highest price, and then you can sweep up to 30 NFTs at once. And so it just makes it a lot easier to do this, and it's a lot quicker than what OpenSea does. And Blur had this, essentially before OpenSea, and now OpenSea is trying to like catch up and make it, something that they've always had and kind of a good feature feel there. But, it's really nice that they have that sweeping feature as well. But going to your point on the portfolio side, they have this really, really cool portfolio tab that basically manages your inventory of what types of NFTs you have. You can also look at your activity, throughout your wallets and all the way back to what you were doing on OpenSea and all that good stuff. And then it actually gives you, which is my favorite part, a unrealized P&L and a realized P&L. So you can see your profit and loss with your wallets.
It's pretty cool.
In perpetuity, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was something where if you wanted to list on other NFT marketplaces, Blur gave you that option as well. So they definitely open up the functionality, and honestly, have created a lot of competition in the NFT marketplace space. It feels like OpenSea was kind of caught off guard with, some of the most recent features or the traffic that Blur's had, and now they're trying to catch up. Sia, do you know anything about the airdrops? I think from what I've seen, there's been a couple seasons. There was season 1, and then maybe season 2 has been starting up. Do you know anything around the airdrop section here?
Yeah, so the airdrop section, this is just a leaderboard for folks that have been involved. But basically, there were different seasons, and we're in season 2, and so in each season there is an incentive. So I believe season 1 was actually just like activity on Blur, so like buying and selling NFTs. Season 2 is all bidding and listing points are doubled. So they basically just have these different seasons where it incentivizes a different activity on Blur to then get people trying these different aspects of it, right? And so the whole idea is that through, the first season actually started in October. So from October to, now, you have all these people coming in and actively trying to get this Blur token reward while also getting to try out Blur, the actual marketplace, right? And so I think it was really ingenious. A lot of the times you just have, people making one trade and being, okay, I qualify for the airdrop, and then never do it again. Whereas with Blur, they have different types of incentives, and then it goes on for quite a long time, where it's not just like there's this huge airdrop and then it's done. It's kind of, drug out a little bit, and it honestly is better for both parties. So
yeah, and just looking at CoinMarketCap here, it looks like the Blur token is top 150. It's 127 right now. So, definitely like a lot of traffic there. Should we hop over to OpenSea and see what they've been trying to do to catch up to Blur's momentum here?
Yeah, I think really quick, and there's not too much to touch on here, but I think really, really quick, it's just a few things that are important to note. First of all, here's their sweeping option. So on the bottom, you can select sweep if you're on a collection. It automatically selects the top row. So in this case, that's 5 NFTs. And then you can kind of come through here and select them and then, sweep. I wish I had 670 ETH to blow on something like this, but you can deselect that or select it and then sweep the NFTs that you have. The other thing that they're trying to make a big deal about, and I think it's because I just re-logged onto OpenSea here and I don't have the pop-up, but they're advertising 0% fees, which Blur has just natively in their platform. Typically, OpenSea takes at least a 2.5% fee on every transaction on top of the royalties. So you see here creator earnings. So if you were to trade a Bored Ape Yacht Club, you're actually just going to lose 5% no matter what, because you have to account for the 2.5% OpenSea fee and then 2.5% creator royalty. Which 2.5% creator royalty isn't bad, but to take 2.5% loss on every trade you make, just because OpenSea wants to take it is kind of, for traders, that's a lot, right? Because you have to factor in basically 5%, 2.5 on the sale, and then 2.5 on the buy, right? So it's a little bit, it's kind of tough from that perspective as a trader. But the other thing that they're promoting here is having these updated in real time, which is something that Blur has just natively. So, that's something that they're basically trying to show, and OpenSea technically still has it in beta. So if I go to, let's say, the Clone X collection, it's going to have it right here and say live beta, and say that the items are updating in real time. But it's pretty incredible that that's still in beta from them when they're the incumbent, right? So they're really trying everything they can to speed things up.
Yeah, and I'm looking at a stat where I think in September of 2021, OpenSea had revenue of 2.75 billion with a B. And they saw that go down to what I think maybe 1.1 billion in the entire year of 2022, and I'm sure we'll continue to see that drop. So yeah, we'll have to see how these NFT marketplaces adapt over time and really create like good business for themselves. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty solid overview. See, you got anything else you want to add on?
No, I just think it's going to be a tough market for marketplaces, because you not only have increased competition, macroeconomically speaking, it's going to be tougher. Less people are going to be buying NFTs. So, you have decreased demand and more competition. And you have people wanting to create their own marketplace, which obviously, has its own bit of risk. We saw Valhalla do this just recently, but as we talked about before we hopped on here, we weren't too impressed with it. I don't know if you guys and the listeners have gotten a chance to look at this, but it's basically just a list of their images or the list of their NFTs from lowest price to highest price. And, you can click on it and see the different traits and all that good stuff and all the last sale activity. But the kind of the main point that we were talking about before this was like, there's really no reason to come here when I can just buy this NFT on a way easier to use marketplace like Blur or something like that.
Exactly. Like if it's going to improve the brand of the collection, then absolutely create your own. But if you're just providing a worse experience for your customer, like, what's the point there? Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's pretty much everything. Like, yeah. I think, marketplaces are going to heat up. And traders are a big piece of the NFT world. I would argue one of the largest, because not many people can just afford to collect $1,000 pieces of digital imagery. It's more so people are trying to get in and they see, oh, Bored Ape Yacht Club went up, 10,000% in a few months. Let me try to get in on some of that, and that's most of the people that are trading. So,
yeah. Well, as always, if you like this stuff, feel free to like, comment, subscribe below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and also the Valhalla Marketplace, what you guys think about that. But as always, wag me, and we'll catch you later.
Peace.